You busy? Oh, I was about to ask. I was going to go to the gas station in Jerusalem. I might give me some chips, a couple snacks.
Welcome to Can Angels Fly Tarot More. This is Nancy, and I'm here to do an Aquarius Rant. Yep, it's just another Aquarius Rant. Trying to set up my live. Something that I can't do beforehand, which I've already ranted about, but I'm here to rant about the whole thing again. I am pissed off. I am really pissed off. I am tired. Oh, let me give some warnings here. This content is for adults. There will be a little cussing. I might be a little belligerent here because I'm really freaking sick and tired of this SHIT. But let me finish setting up my channel. Setting up this live. This is annoying. This is so freaking fragging annoying. Click, click, click. This is just, I'm really annoyed. I want to cuss real bad. I try to be responsible. I try to be responsible, but I'm just like irritated with this SHIT. I really am. This is ridiculous. Let's see if I can find what I'm looking for. I know this alternate reality that I'm in is a bunch of crap. This experience is a bunch of crap. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna take my time to look for what I'm looking for. So all you hear is click, 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 click. Click, click, click. Oh, I never looked for it. Oh, okay, well, I'm going to take my time once again to look for what I'm looking for because I never looked for it, so I don't know where it is. There it is. Okay. Got that. I am so irritated. Oh my God. I'm so irritated. I don't know what to put. You can come in. You disturb me from the get-go. The whole shit. What is it? I'm live.
Oh, my bad. I was asking, was you live?
If I'm not saying nothing in response to you, then you should be able to figure that out, right? Yes.
I'm just about to ask you when I get back, was you going to be ready to make your Facebook
no, no, this would not be the time.
Okay.
Thank you.
I was trying to get you ready.
Okay. Okay. Over the course of this particular live stream, I assume it won't be that long, fairly short. I will be partaking in my vices. I'm not trying to be a bad influence on anybody. If you easily influence, you shouldn't partake in this particular video. Let's see. Just hold on till you get started. Okay. Let me make sure that, okay. Yes, it is true. I'm pissed. I did that wrong. I am pissed. I apostrophe M. Don't worry, it don't matter. I'm pissed. This is an Aquarius rant. And why am I truly ranting? It's because about a year ago, I was up to 8,000 subscribers, $8,000. I was up to 8,000 subscribers. So I'm down from 8,000 subscribers and still falling. I am so pissed at this whole experience. I am disappointed in this whole YouTube experience. It's been bug, S-H-I-T. I done put all of my energy into this here channel for YouTube to play a hate on me. Now, in the beginning, when the player hating started, hold on, let me give some details here about this. How do I even get to my own content? I want to see how. Maybe if I just go to my channel, period. Just go to my channel, maybe my channel. Let's see. Not only do I want to go to my channel, I want to see videos. The oldest video I have here is 7 years ago. For 7 solid years. It's been seven solid years. Well, not 7 solid years. I made my very first 2 videos 7 years ago. In actuality, I started my channel here on YouTube, or I got a YouTube account. I think it was in 2012. I didn't make videos at the time. Then in 7 years ago, that will be this 2021. I don't even feel like counting. I'm so mad. Anyway, I made my first 2 videos 7 years ago. And I share in the video how I want to explore the mysteries of this life in order to come to an understanding about this life. I stated that I was going to share and be very transparent and share about my experiences, because I know I had so many spiritual experiences. I had some crazy physical experiences, and I just wanted to share, explore, discover, and share what I learned, what I come to understand, things I don't understand, those kind of things. And I have successfully done that. Then I really got active on YouTube 5 years ago. Now they got to be going on 6. 5 years ago is when I really got active. I began to share. I began to read tarot cards. And now behind the scenes, I was doing these same things in my private life. I had a little group or club I talked about early on in my YouTube channel, in which I taught tarot, and we just kind of had an exchange. I talked about how I was into a lot of different things before I got on YouTube. Anywho, about 4 years ago, I'm on my channel page so that I can talk to, share with you about why I'm so upset. Now, mind you, everything I share on YouTube is what I know. It ain't no pretend, it ain't no fake, it ain't no clickbait. These are my experiences, both physical and spiritual. I talk about everything from my experience being raised in the inner city. I talk about my world travels. I talk about my extensive education. I talk about my debt, everything that I accumulated trying to make my way through this physical world. But before I really got to going so deep, where's all my stuff at? I guess maybe they're only showing the stuff I got open and available. That might be what it is. Open and available. Because I closed down after I do tarot readings for a month. Once we enter into the new month or the current month, in that first week, I unpost or make unpublished, what do they call it? I forgot what it's called, unlist prior tarot readings. So all the tarot readings I have here are, again, unlisted, and only the most current tarot readings are accessible. But everything else I've ever done, I keep open and accessible. I'm not even sure that anybody that comes to my channel has the capability to access all of the videos that I make, because I don't see that reflected in my analytics at all, which I find it strange that people don't go back and watch older videos. And then I went a step further and I created actual categories on my YouTube homepage. So these type of videos, these older videos covering various subject topics, whether they're worldly topics or spiritual topics, can be accessed easy. And again, I don't see people accessing them. So I don't understand. But anyway, about 4 years ago, my YouTube channel really started to soar. And I was doing the tarot and I was doing all these little creative scenes and backgrounds that I set within, and they helped frame the themes of my tarot readings. It was going well. And I was getting up into thousands of views. That's wonderful. It also stimulated or prompted me to have a little side tarot business, not the one that I was involved with prior to YouTube, but this is something that spun out from me offering, giving a generalized free tarot readings on YouTube. So I had a little side business going on. It was great. Then I started getting more and more used to being in front of the camera, in front of speaking, and as the tarot, and I also started to share my interpretation of the astrological alignments. And then in 2016, when I got that real big spiritual message, that's when I really it's time for me to really start sharing now. I already knew the purpose of me having my YouTube channel from the beginning. I already knew it. And again, I shared that as soon as I started it. Hey, we're going to explore this world and this life, and we're going to find out what's really going on. And in order to do so, I'm going to be tapping into a whole lot of different things, divination, current events, everything. And I'm going to be transparent about my life because I felt like that was the only way we could truly find some answers out. It's like when I started getting too transparent, too open about my experiences here in this matrix and my interaction within the various social constructs of this world, it was like my channel just started dropping off tremendously. And I have struggled. I have changed the name of my channel multiple times. I have struggled, baby, have I struggled with this channel. And I've tried to stay consistent. It's been a few times that I got so frustrated I didn't finish like my tarot readings for the month. And I hate to at least threads loose. I hate to not have the balance in my channel. And when I say balance, I'm talking about if I'm reading tarots for all 12 signs and I only do 6 to 8 or something of them and can't go no further because I'm so pissed off. I have done lives. I have done lives in the morning, in the afternoon, in prime time, in the middle of the night, weekends, middle of the day. It doesn't matter. It does not stimulate. Nothing that I have done stimulates any traffic to my channel or involvement or participation. It don't matter. Since I started really being transparent, talking about my real life, experiences, again, I offer an interpretation of the stars, and the stars keep us abreast about what's going on, or it will soon take place. And since I've started them, I have revealed and made so many predictions that have come true. But again, YouTube and how they got their stuff set up, I know I've been shadow banned, and I'm just pissed off. So I'm pissed. I am really, really pissed. I am really pissed. And it's for egotistical reasons. And I guess I can talk about the egotistical reasons too, because I've been saying it for the last year or two. I see my time here on YouTube is drawing to an end. And today, after last month, I say it's drawn to an end. So I'm all over the place. This is an Aquarius rant. There's no order to it. I can say what I want to say. I can fuss. I can cuss. And I can partake in my vices if I so choose to. Again, this is an Aquarius rant. And so I'm pissed. I made a few associations here on, since I've been here on YouTube, and I greatly appreciate those associations. But over the history of my time here on YouTube, I have lost track of some of these people because I've heard when they find me again, they thought I just dropped off of YouTube. They were unsubscribed to me. They said they searched for me and couldn't find me. And I heard that over and over and over again. And 2 years ago, the little business that had spun out from me having a YouTube channel fell off. There's no more of that, period. And I'm like, what the hell? When I first started my YouTube channel, within, I'll say, 6 months, I could get 50 views in a 24-hour period. I was like, okay. But now, after 7 years, I'm back to 50 views. I've been talking about this. I've been fussing about this BS. You know, I'm like, how is that the mother sucking case? And it really pisses me off because all of the predictions, when I start talking about all the predictions that I made, and it's not me per se making predictions, that's the terminology that, you know, that is trending here on YouTube. But, and so, for lack of better words, the predictions that I make come from the tarot readings that I have done, you know, for people that I do in general, as well as the astrological energies, plus my real life. Paying attention to all those details allows me to predict what's gonna happen next. Okay, so the things that I predicted over the history of my channel on YouTube, I kind of understand when they first started shadow banning me. I get that. I've told y'all over time, I'd have shared, I'd have confided, I'd have confessed that I became a YouTube junkie over the years. I was like, wow, okay. What I realized, and I can't say it is 100% solid, that other people were not talking about what I spoke of. They did. They spoke of people, over time, people spoke of like the ascension. I was speaking on ascension, and I adopted that terminology because I saw that what I was already talking about was the ascension. The ascension that I saw, you know, what was deemed ascension was not what other people saw. What I saw was correct. What I saw was correct. Now we're in it. The decline of the financial crash, the pandemic, this period that we're going through that is going to be greater than the Great Depression of 1930s, I foresaw. Other people did see, have seen, and spoke of an economic crash, et cetera, et cetera. Other people talked about the ascension to 5D. My point is saying is, when people were a more serious mind, talking about economics and things like that, they did foresee and they did predict and warn people about what was going to take place. But then there were other people that were actually here on YouTube for more entertainment purposes, definitely more entertainment purposes, and everything they said was bullshit. Oop, I didn't make it. I'm pissed. This is an Aquarius Rant. This is bullshit. But everything I said came into being. So at this point in time, let me stop. Last month, I was like, okay, I got an idea. Grand idea. Light bulb on top of the head. Epiphany. And it was to find streams or streams of words or statements that are highly searched, but not highly competitive. And I found those stream of words. And I used those stream of words. And those stream of words stimulated traffic to my channel. I got upwards of over 2,000 more views than I normally do by using that technique. Then I told y'all something happened last month, like YouTube got a hold of it. And during that time period, I talked about and complained and ranted about what I was experiencing relative to YouTube, from being shut out of my channel to, it was a few things when I say, hey, y'all, YouTube then caught a hold to it. They halted that SHIT. They stopped it. So the time came where there was nothing for me to report. When y'all haven't really seen me, I've been procrastinating. And the truth is, I really have not been procrastinating over the last 2 or 3 weeks. It was just when I was consulting the stars, there was nothing that I was really seeing. I had some messages, and it took me a while to process them. And that's when I've come back to you with the theme about the rat race. but I had to process them. So it's nothing for me to really support. I could have came on here every day, all day long, and just kept reading tarot cards after tarot cards after tarot cards. I could tell you about love and this and that, but I also know if I had done that, that I would have been diverting away from trying to be upright in my work here on YouTube. So I'm pissed. I am so pissed that once again in my life, it's about me either choosing to be upright or not. Upright gets me nothing. And if I'm not, I can't say I never chose to do it, the more self-indulgent way. And I have very little, but I've always been called to action. So I always have to line myself back up. And it's nobody else's fault. It's nobody else's fault that this is my life and my life story. Nobody can understand it or perceive it because they're not living it. Nobody else is living this life that I'm living but me. So I get nobody understands. Therefore, nobody can be sympathetic and nobody can even see beyond what is presented to them. You can't. I get that. It's one of those things that happens in this physical worldly experience. It's just one of them things. Let me see. It's just one of them things. But I am tired of this shit. I'm telling you, to spend so much time, to invest so much energy into something that you care about and not see no fruits for one's labor. I gotta stop. It's an Aquarius rant. I'm all over the place. I know it. But I have to go, I got to look at my life. Hello. My life. What I'm experiencing on YouTube is the same as what has occurred in my life. When I started YouTube, I was not thinking that what I experienced in my life was also going to happen here with my works on YouTube. I wasn't even aware, that I would be on YouTube as long as I have. That's quite an accomplishment because I didn't per se, perceive myself like being here 7 years later. Like, wow, really? Okay. I really got engulfed in it, engaged in it. I really enjoyed the work. I enjoy helping people, as I always have. But again, the same things, the same energy that is present in my true everyday reality I'm experiencing here on YouTube. And that's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. I've talked about this so many times here and there, and I keep trying to pull myself back, not wanting to share that I am being negatively impacted by my experience here on YouTube. It's really a negative impact. Yes. Oh, that is a beautiful thing. This is perfect for an Aquarius rant. Yes, it is. Thank you very much. Very thoughtful. Very thoughtful. Hope I don't choke. Yeah, I'm talking and eating. Where am I at? Perfect for an Aquarius rant. Popcorn, pop, coffee, just everything. Why not? Per day. You know how? I gotta refer to the current astrological energies, the energies that have come up over the most recent past, even to this moment, and is moving us into the near future. It talks about people in the world that are challenged in being highly productive in society. I am one of those people. Do I want to be? Mm-mm. And when I remember the first time I read my birth chart, you get a lot of messages. It's like astrology is a living, what do you call it? Living, it's like a live story or something like that you can tap into, different segments or phases of your life, and almost like reels. Read astrology. And so I say that because I can read my it depends on what I'm focusing on when I read my natal chart and then other progress charts. It depends on what I find out. But I remember the first time I read my birth chart, my natal chart, and found out that I had this type of obstacle that I speak of. And it was a relief to me at some point in time in my life because at that particular time in my life, because again, this has been a lifelong experience I've had. You know, I've shared here on YouTube that I am a master. I am a Jill or Nancy of all trades. I'm very professional. You know, I have a high level of professionalism. I can be a perfectionist. My work ethic is amazing, and I'm fairly intelligent. You know, and so many people, coming back to the current astrological energies and what they're talking about, people that have challenges for one reason or another in this society, in our world society, in being very productive and also being productive is another term I've been using, and to the point that they become sovereign over their life. It's been a challenge for me. It's not because I'm lazy. It's not because I'm not knowledgeable. It is literally something in my birth chart that lets it be known that this is a barricade or a blockage in this area for me, no matter what, and it's sickening. And then when I got over here on YouTube, I thought I found a place of the breakthrough. And for a minute, it did happen, but it was just like the rest of my life. You know, for a minute, a rise to, I'll say, not sovereignty. I'm using the word sovereignty, productivity, and another term I've been using. I can't think of the term. Hello. I had to shake them. That's it. Yes. Good ranting food, popcorn. So, again, I thought I escaped this like curse on YouTube. And then the time came again when I started getting so transparent here on my channel, sharing everything that I've become aware of from the spirits that dwell within, everything, that when my channel started falling off, I tried so desperately to hold on to it and to keep working, because I did have a purpose, you know, initially, and it was to share. But it started bothering me. It's like there's a personal pet peeve of mine, because it's been a lifelong obstacle toward being sufficient, productive, and sufficient. I would love to be my own boss. I would love to be an entrepreneur. I have attempted to do so, and it's the beginning, it's the climb to get it stable, and I have the stable moment, and then it just drop off. Nothing that I do, it happens over and over again. I've told y'all, I shared with y'all that I've been into the arts, and I done painted and had the visions and you know, been in that state of consciousness to create something out of nothing. And I've rose to the top, and I've been featured in art galleries before. Get up there and then poof, fall off. I mean, people, stealing my work, doing all kinds of things. Anything that could go wrong, Murphy's Law, anything that can go wrong goes wrong. I'm like, what the hell? I done tried so hard. And then again, here on YouTube, the same thing happens. What is pissing me off at this point in time about my channel, after I found that little niche, and my channel viewership jumped up at least 2,000 more than usual in a 28-day period, is that everything, going back to my predictions, everything that I predicted, saw, shared, everything that I've talked about is now common and trending across social media, or whatever this thing's called. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And it's only those few that have followed me from the moment they found me to this point in time that understands just how it's just trending. To the people that may have followed me and trusted me and listened to me and learned from me and shared with me, at this point in time, I know everything they're encountering. They looking like, oh, I already know that. It's just a norm to them now. Norm. Like, oh, I've been knew that. I've been covered that. That's what they saying. We already talked about that. It's norm. And so another thing that's pissing me off, it's this guy named Tony Roberts or something, or whatever his name is. He's what do you call it? Inspirational self-help guru. He's been around for quite a few years, long time. he has a new commercial here on YouTube that comes up, before a video, whenever they place it. And I just, when I'm seeing all these people coming up and they're all awakened now. Oh, Lord. Now, I've talked about it before, and I kept trying to pull myself back and contain myself, but I'm just irritated now. Because what? All the things that I've talked about have come to pass. It is common now. It's trending. It is the norm now across social media. Every form of social media, it is present. Everybody's talking about it. Everything. So why is my channel still spiraling down? Why? And I say it's spiraling down because remember, last month I found the niche and I stimulated traffic to my channel after all that time. And YouTube said, oh no, and they stopped it. Now, remember I had this period over the last 3 weeks. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't deliver any messages. If I had, they would have been out of unrighteousness. They would have been just made up to try to keep y'all engaged, and those kind of things. I couldn't do it. So I had nothing to say. All I could do was sit and ponder all the information I had until I got the full message, which was about the rat race and the time period that we're in. The still right now before the storm, and how people can't perceive that the rat race is already taking place and will be shocked. Shocked when it becomes blatantly obvious, So I couldn't. So in that time period, the 3 weeks that I couldn't, first my channel stood. It stood still from the place in which it had rose over the last month when I found a niche. Over the 3 weeks, remember it's every 28 days or something like that YouTube looks at. Over the 28 days, it dissolved all 2,800 of those over 2,000 views extra. Dissolved them all. Then it has me now on a day-to-day basis. Every 28 days is like 14 people may come into my channel or something like that, 12 to 14 people. Remember, when I first started this YouTube channel, we're going to say 5 years ago when I really got active, I could get 50 views in that time period. Now, it's only 12. I might not be the most entertaining person, but I ain't the most boring. I might not be the most knowledgeable person, but I ain't stupid. I might not be the most socially appealing or attractive person, but I ain't too shabby either. So there is no reason for my channel not to grow, but instead keep falling. Today I looked at my analytics. It has now, and in a long time I haven't had new membership. How can I say it like this? Because every now and then someone does subscribe to my channel. But we're looking at analytics that covers over an extended period of time. And so it has been several years since I had a positive upward count to my subscribership. And that's because there are more people being subtracted from my channel that actually is able to find me and subscribe. Now, are those people that are leaving? Remember, I had got up to 8,000 subscribers about 2 years ago. And since then, I have continued to decline. Over the last year, it's been consistent. So, out of those 8,000 people 2 years ago, were there some people that channels were inactive? YouTube dropped them off, automatically. Did the people really unsubscribe? We unsubscribe from some channels every now and then. But why has there not been people that are subscribing? That doesn't make any sense at all. Another thing that has been occurring is about in the last couple of days, since this month has started, this is just now the 9th. Just 2 days ago, my subscribership started falling again. In 2 days, I lost 11 subscribers in 2 days. These last 2 days. My, I don't know, the percentage I earned is now 94 cents. I've been on this mother-sucking platform for a total of 7 years. 5 years totally active for no deed of my own. My channel's not growing. And I'm at 94 cents over for a 28-day period for all that I bring here to YouTube. I'm pissed off. This is an Aquarius Rant in which I'm partaking in all my vices and snacks and treats and different things like this. But this is some bull. I'm trying not to cuss y'all, but I'm mad. Another thing that's been irritating me, and again, I try to pull back from, try not to be what they call us, a complainer, to look negatively upon this experience, but I can't help it. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Is, again, like I gave the example of Tony Roberts. He's one person. He's been into being a self-help, whatever you call it, guru. But now what he talks about has shifted. You know, just in the little commercial they offer here on YouTube. And it's another fellow sitting on the side of him. Everybody, even people that was talking about in these little ads and commercials, hey, here's my Ferrari. I can show you how to make money. All of it has changed spiritual. It's in turn spiritual. Ooh, Lord, it's all in turn. Everybody in turn spiritual. Everybody's awakened now. Everybody. Everybody. What makes me so angry about it, and I've talked about this before and almost came to tears, I think I'm a little tougher now, is that I went through it. I know what it takes on a spiritual walk. I know the chastisement. I know the reproof. I know the dark night of the soul. I know when positive or light energy or Christ energy reach down and pull a person out of the pits of hell. I experienced that. I have truly been on a spiritual walk. It's been my whole mother-sucking life. So like I said, when I get up here on YouTube and share my experiences, they my real mother-sucking experiences. My real sucking experiences. But all of a sudden, everybody is spiritual. Everybody is enlightened. One day, they was one thing, and the next day, they was another. See, I have shared here for anybody that follow me, I do have an attitude, even with my Creator. I can confess that to y'all. The reason why I can, because God knows it. We and him, or me and it, has talked about it. It knows it. It has dealt with me on that. That is still in progress. So I have no problem confessing it to y'all. Because in truth, when it comes to me and my God, y'all are relevant. That's the reality. So I just say that to put everything in perspective about why I can share what I just shared about me having an issue with my God and how my life is turning out, and all that, whatever I'm angry about. Anywho, and to see that, remember, I've dealt with the reproof. I've dealt with the chastisement. I've been in hell. I've been in the dark. I've been also in the presence of God. I've been with demons and devils and angels and things like that, both in the physical and the spirit. I've been there. What church folks say, all honor and glory to God who strengthens me. Yeah. And there are those today that exist that are spiritual. They were not one day, and they were the next day. There was no middle experiences or bridging experiences of the reproof and things like that. That upsets me, but again, that's between me and my God and whatever we gonna go through. But I bring that up because I know that we are in a time, when I say we, I'm talking about humanity, all 7.8 plus billion people that are in this world at this time, and whomever will be here in the unfolding future. Is that I know that we're in a time that was or has been ordained for people to awaken. I talk about the awakening mean and what the ascension is based on my experiences. I have been so transparent. And when I see those that, what I want to say, let me stop. So I understand that there has to be a sudden explosion of consciousness. I know there has to be a sudden explosion of consciousness and awareness that offers us the opportunity to ascend. That is to bring heaven upon earth, as well as to release our attachment to physicality so that we won't be bombarded or held in a held state in the consciousness. I know this has to happen. So that means then I also know that many people that will wake up or have waken up won't go through the long, drawn out, process that I've gone through. And I'm sure many others have, don't get me wrong, have gone through over the course of my life. It can't happen. It cannot happen the same way that it has happened with me. It is a shortcut that people will experience. I know it. And I am not God, so I can't say it can't be overnight, which I've seen. People are not spiritual. Their message wasn't spiritual. And then overnight, because it became trendy, now it is. I got concerns. Again, I got to go in communion with my God, which I've been. Still waiting for the answer. If you follow me, or you follow my work, you probably heard me gripe about this. It's been a couple of years. I still ain't got the answer. Still waiting. Still mad. Still pissed. This is Aquarius Rant that offers me the opportunity to spill my guts out in the physical realm. Pissed off. Tired of it. Is it? I mean, outside of myself, because I've been talking about me. It is an Aquarius Rant, but outside of myself, what is such, or how are such awakened people, newly awakened people, going to assist humanity? How are they going to assist humanity, really? Are they able to do what they do to claim awakening? Because even though they haven't awakened, or, I mean, this is hard to talk about because you don't know what a person has gone through. So that I know I'm wrong. But again, I'm in my ego. Myself, I just talk about this because the current astrological energies talks about this as well, about a person's ego, the state of their ego, about their sense of self-worth and personal power being directly in correlation to how they feel and their psyche and the soul. And so I bring that up because for me, I'm one of the individuals that create humanity at this time period that we're moving through. My ego has been attached to this work. Again, it is a battle between, flesh and spirit. It is attached to this work. And maybe over time, God, the Creator, will reveal to me, how it splices and separates the spirit from the physical. What am I talking about? I'm talking about, hey, I can't help that I'm expecting an abundance or rewards for my work. I can't help that. I'm human. That's the physical egotistic side. On the spiritual side is that I want this world to be a better place for me, ego again, but also my children and my grandchildren and the world at large, because God has allowed me to see how beautiful this place and this experience is and can be. So it's worth the fight. But in order to fight, to have that beauty, to have that heaven on earth experience, you got to be aware of the truth, of the reality, of the plight of any plights of all the plans of the powers and the principalities that exist in the dark. People can't see. So it's that right there. Again, I have to have faith that the Creator, God, or however you like to label it, that my God is going to splice that for me, because I can't separate. I can't separate. I done tried. Lord knows I done tried. But again, back to my astrological chart. It seems like my birth chart, my natal chart, seems like I may, in times past life, had a life, excuse me for slapping, of privilege and of authority. And I probably was a man. And I had all the treasures of this world. And maybe that's why, and this is another crazy thing about everything I'm going through, is that I'm not materialistic. I don't know how to explain it. Because it's sounds like I'm jumping from one place to another. How can I say I want rewards for my work, but then turn around and say I'm not materialistic? Or, I am in my ego. It's an ego thing. It's a physical, worldly thing. It's being susceptible to the human condition, being up under the human condition. It's hard to explain. I want it because everybody else got it. Again, a physical, worldly thing. I want it because everybody else got it. If they eligible for it, then I'm eligible for it. If and that's what it is. So that's why I want it. Earlier when I did my tarot readings, this subject matter came up. And it also came up in the astrological energies. And it talks about, oh God, I forgot what I was talking about. Because I'm a rant because I'm pissed off. I am tired of this. I'm tired of being held down due to some past life experience. I was talking about the past life experience. It's like I've had it already. I've experienced that reality of having. So in this life, I've had, I know what the astrological is about. How do you define abundance for yourself? That's what it's about. How do you define abundance for yourself? If I could remove all outside impressions and influences upon me, what I define as abundance is humble. It is a minimalist life. It's things I have strived for over the course of my life, but then I fall weak because of what I'm human. And I want what I want because now bringing back all the outside influences, stimuli, to others, the structures, the everything. I want it because everybody else got it and can have it. That's the best way I can describe it. I want it. I got it. Best example I could offer what I mean is like relative to food, because I know people are so very critical, and that would be the first thing they look at. Nancy, you say without the outside stimuli or influence that you could be a minimalist. Minimalist also includes the dietary habits. Being a vegetarian, minimize would make me a smaller built person. Okay, that's without outside influences, and I have been vegetarian in the course of my life, and it was wonderful. But then the outside came in. Everybody else I hung around, eating at the chop house, the steakhouse, the parties and the players, and the living a fast life, the house, hot life, eating like kings and queens and parties and family things. Well, I want what they wanted, and so this is the direct result of me choosing to participate in the world as an example. So I don't know if that even makes sense, but I guess that I'm my own worst enemy. Again, but I'm tired of it. And the reason I'm tired of it again, because it plays out in every aspect of my life. Every single aspect of my life. I even talked about it in relationship to love matters. And how I had to stop myself because I heard Spirit saying and informing me that I was in a very competitive environment. relative to love. Love triangulation stuff. And when I was like, I'm not going to compete. Ooh, that Pepsi. It was sinful. Literally. Compete for love. I'm not going to do it. I can say in that area, that's an area that y'all can't see. Y'all can only hear my testimony, but that's healed. I'm not afraid to love. I am open to love, but I'm not going to compete for love. I'm not going to allow myself to be abused, to be loved, or in any relationship that look like love. I'm not going to do it. That space is healed. I love myself, even though the person that I once loved didn't love me or didn't know how to love me. I still love myself. That space is healed. I am more than a conqueror in that area. Other areas, I am not. However, that same energy is present that I've been talking about all over my life, all through my life. This is crazy. You say, I'm here, Mom. How are you? Are you an Aquarius? Yes, I'm an Aquarius. You say I sound like a Scorpio? No, Aquarius. Vent, let it out. I got to. Girl, don't. These animals, Aquarius are not animal-minded. So I hope you understand what I mean. Not animalistic. Animalistic in a lower nature, lusty. Yeah. I'm not a real lusty person. I can be. I talk about my imaginary childhood friend. And that's the role that entity played in my life, was to provoke me into being lustful. And if I would agree, first it was just this free offerings to me. But if I wanted those offerings, that abundance, those riches in my life to continue without falling off, I had to give over to the lust or whatever the command, whatever, anything that can be born from lust. When it comes to lust and you become desirous and egotistical and narcissistic, you can hurt somebody. I'm going to say it like that. You can hurt somebody, or anything. You could steal. You become greedy. So I had to partake in those states of consciousness in order to please this entity, my childhood friend. And I would always refuse to. And once I would refuse to, again, the storage doors of abundance will be closed to me. This went on and on again, over and in my life, over and over again. And most recently, I've been talking about and sharing how I know I have jumped timelines where I'm living in an alternate reality. I've shared that it's at least 3 other alternate realities, or 3 realities that I have participated in over the course of my life. And I'm at this point where I'm thinking it's number 4. And I was sharing in my Aquarius rants about the rat race that I'm having difficulty identifying this particular timeline or reality. I think it is a 4th one, though, I've been sharing. And I still think it's a 4th one, but I can't fully confirm it. One of the things that I pointed out that helps me confirm what timeline or reality that I'm participating in is the plant life. The plant life changes depending on what reality I'm in. Also, the people that I have exposure to, is like people will vanish out of my reality depending, or become present in my reality, depending on what reality I'm participating in. This one, I'm having a difficult time doing so, but I know I don't like it. It's not a timeline in which I'm gonna give you an example. It's a timeline where, I'm gonna give you an example. And so I really don't know how to identify this timeline. These are examples of what's taking place now that I'm participating in this particular timeline. Which timeline or reality is it? I don't know. Is it one of the 3, or is it a new one? What I've been experiencing? Hi, Carla, how are you? What's going on with you? Hopefully all is well. I bought a new dryer at the end of 2019. The dryer went out. My washing machine just went out. My washing machine is a little older, went out. My refrigerator went out. Now I bought these appliances new at different times. Now it's gone out. I mean, it's a lot of negative things starting to happen. I'm like, oh, hold on, wait a goddamn minute. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. What else has occurred? Right now, this is another thing that happens in depending on what timeline I'm in or reality I'm in. I've talked about it before, and it's about, again, plant life, but it also is particular about the grass. If depending on what timeline I'm in, let me try to explain. Certain timelines or realities that I participate in, the grass will grow really, really slow. It'll be very, very plush. And then other timelines, the grass won't even grow at all. It'll just be, it'll stay the same height all the time. Then I've occupied this timeline in which the grass grow like wildflower fire. You can cut it, and then later that day, it's grew back. I know that is one of the experiences that's occurring in this timeline. I'm like, oh no. Now I know that I've been in a time frame, in a timeline before, but I haven't participated in that reality, I think, in a long time. I've been trying to think about it, and I'm still looking for other clues. Because it was a timeline in which I occupied, because I complained and I got on my knees and prayed about this timeline. I was like, God, I don't ever want to see this again, where I could cut my grass right now, and in 8 hours, it's practically back. In 8 hours, it's practically back. And I spent a whole summer, one summer, I cut my grass every other day, every other day, every other day. It almost seems like it was a compulsion. In that same season, I think then another phase happened where, I mean, it was always, and I think, no, that wasn't that time period that I heard the wind blowing from 3 different corners of the earth. Trying to remember, it's been a minute. So those are the type of things that help me identify the reality that I'm in. And this time I really can't. I'm having a hard time because it's kind of a numb. I think it's difficult for me because it's really numb. Now, I haven't had any experiences, other timeline experiences that was numb or still or moving real slow like Matrix. That's how I say, like, the energy is moving. And I haven't had that, but that's how this experience seems. Slow. Everything else is normal pace, but this is kind of slowed up. So, again, I'm thinking I'm in a fourth reality, and this is not a reality that I like. If it is a fourth reality, I think it's been created. I did a video during that broomstick period, the broomstick challenge period, and I said, hey, y'all, the powers have manipulated us into changing the laws of physics. I said it then, based on all the evidence, the powers have manipulated the masses of the world to agree on an alternate formula to exist in physics and therefore change our reality. So that is an example of what I'm saying could have helped create this reality that I'm experiencing, in which everything is moving slow. Everything is slow. That grass is coming up fast. And again, stuff breaking that shouldn't be breaking. And I mean, it's just ridiculous, but I don't have enough evidence. So I'm just irritated. You say, it's a lot about the generation you're from and the generation you're in. Yeah, we're in the Z generation. Baby boomers can't function well in the generation unless, oh Lord, and that's a whole nother thing. Oh God, the current generation. And then I've also thought about, it's interesting about a generation. I thought about my generation, and I haven't gone into great ponderance about, about the influences or the generational concerns or issues. What they call them, generational issues or concerns and karma and things like that. I do need to ponder that. I have considered that, but haven't gone into great thought about it. But I got to go there. And I had a few things in my reality that I've had to address. Oh, and technology acting real wild, but I kept putting that on, the pandemic and more people being at home, and a lot more remote learning and working home from working from home, and so a lot more people having to access the internet at a time, and that's why I've been blaming the technology on. My phone is goofed out all of a sudden. It was fine, it's then goofed back out again. I'm like, okay. You say, doing fine. I have faith you and your family are well. We will. I'm just irritated. What I'm going through is more of an irritation than anything. Again, I be trying to find terms for things to sum them up. But right now I'm talking about who I am without the competitiveness of outsiders, who I am and have the potential to be. Again, is like more of a minimalist, more simple. What I feel like I need in this world in order to feel like I had a decent life is very basic, unless in comparison to the outside world. That's my challenge. So, hell, I forgot I was talking about Aquarius Rant. Who knows? In that, I'm okay. I am fine. And I'm even at peace. I'm at peace. There's truly no one disturbing me. I live in a hood. At any given time, somebody could just have a gripe for you. So I don't have any of that going on. The bare basics are met. Even though the washing machine, the dryer, and the refrigerator, and my phone on the blitz, I just take a deep breath and be okay. But because I know that there is a washing machine that work at Sears or wherever, I want it. That's how I am. But I'm okay. I got clean clothes. I can go to the laundromat if I need to. I can wash it all on my hand. My dryer half running the cycle. My washing machine half running the cycle. I can go put it in there and stand there, turn the knob and make it do what I want to do. So I have alternatives, options. So, but it's just frustrating. I would prefer, and I always say this, I say it to y'all, I say it to God, I would prefer to be the person in this world that, I don't know, this is where I start doubting faith and faith. My faith is weak. And I doubt God, the creator, or however you want to label it, my God. I would rather just be a worldly, I guess I can sum it up like that, a worldly person. Let me indulge in what I want to indulge in. Let me do what I want to do. Let me reap the fruits of this world. I don't want to be stopped and chastised. And I don't know how to explain it. I can't make it real to anybody that I know that there is a God, because it actively, not only its soldiers, actively involve itself in my life, in the activities. It will stop me, literally stop me in the court, in doing something. It will stop me and it let me know I'm stopping you. Nope, you're gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? Woke, I meant. Let's see. Let me read again. It's been feeling like a dream. That's what it feels almost like a dream. Yesterday was feeling detached by the whole thing. African man, reality is different here. It's different. You might be to work for religious beliefs. Woke, I meant. I would rather not. I would rather not. I probably would self-destruct. I'm willing. That's why I be like, it's hard to talk about when you feel like you called by God. It's not just me, but it's those that are, I guess, more susceptible to listen to the suggestions of the benevolent, God, or we like to label it, we call it whatever, because so many people call it so many different things. Yeah, people don't believe that. I know it to be true because it's my experience. That's something I can't translate over to anybody. But I prefer I would like to just be, again, in this world. Again, if I had the choice, if I had the choice, I would probably self-destruct. I know that. And so I try not to be angry about what I experience and witness in the world. I try. But again, I'm human and I'm ego, I see people being able to partake in the world. I know people that can partake in the world. And if God and its minions and soldiers ever tapped them on the wrist, they missed it. I missed it, but I don't. I don't see them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I can't see them inside and out at all. I can't see the inside at all, and I can't barely see them on the outside. So I don't know if God moved to chastise them, reproof them, redirect them, re-educate them, or whatever, or is they just ignoring them? I don't know that, but I know, and this is the crazy people that are more close, have been more close and intimate in my life, have witnessed when I'm reproofed or chastised, and they know it. They be like, "Oh, me." I ain't got to say a thing. It's that obvious if you're around me. When it happens, especially if it happens, it can happen at different intensities. But there have been people around me, many people around me, of different relationships to me that have witnessed me being stopped in the midst of doing something or wanting to do something or being reproofed or redirected or re-educated by the Creator. And they be like, "Oh, SIGIT can't mess with you," because they know they're a sinner, and they'll go away. Do you know how frustrating it is? And it's nothing if we would like to get in a conversation about it. Like, I can bring them on here. They may, I can have some people testify to what they have witnessed relative to me, around me, but they may not, because that's not the norm. It's not the norm. I was talking about earlier now how everybody awake, everybody's spiritual, but the reality is it's like that Judas thing. I think it's Judas. No, just Jesus Christ's disciples. In front of Jesus, they was full, righteous, loyal disciples. But once they was in front of them Pharisees, they didn't know. I don't know Jesus. I don't know Jesus. So what I'm saying, there are people at this time, even though it's trending to be awake and righteous and stuff, they may testify to what they've experienced or witnessed in relationship to me, and they may not. They may be like, nope, I don't know Jesus. I don't know what you're talking about. You don't never know what you're going to get. Y'all say these are kind of concerns and worries and issues I have with my experience. Who would testify? I guess you ain't got to testify to me, and based on what I know, you just got to testify to God. It's frustrating. It's real frustrating. I'd rather be free. And the Creator God, or how we like to label it, my God, has allowed me to be free. And then there's other times, won't let me be free. Even though, I'm going to tell you another thing I'm seeing. And I've been seeing it. I ain't spoke on it. I spoke on it today to one of my kids when I was talking to him. But I'm noticing insanity. I can see it. I did one video here on YouTube, and I think it's called The Purple Panic. It was during Halloween, and I talked about the purple period of the purple panic. And I think we're almost there. Scary. But people are going insane. We already all crazy. We about to go insane. And that's scary. I don't want to experience that kind of stuff. The other day I was saying here on YouTube, I know I can weather anything. But I don't want to. I know I can weather it, but I don't want to. Hi, Nancy. How are you? I don't want to. I'm tired of that. SHIT. Hi, Nancy. Got to cook the morning breakfast. Take care. All right. You say this thumbnail, though, Nancy. I know exactly what you're describing. I hear you. It says thumbnail. I'm happy I got your attention. That's another thing YouTube make me mad about. I've used to the best of my ability, my creative abilities here on YouTube, making the thumbnails and things like that. First, again, I used to create my own unique backdrops and things like that. And I was very successful with them. Then I learned about how to use technology and add in the transparent little images and things that you see oftentimes in the thumbnails. And I can't believe when say for instance, when a video ends, they offer you or suggest about 12 additional videos or 9 to 12 additional videos for you to click on at the end of a person's video. Or there's a suggestion of videos to the right side in the far right column. Now, my analytics has said to me before, shared with me, that they say, for instance, offered my video to be viewed, let's say 5,000 times. And out of 5,000 offers, whether it's after somebody's video ends and the little suggestion videos pop up, or it's down the far right column, that out of the 5,000 times, only 12 people click over a 28-day period. Over 5,000 suggestions, that don't even make sense. I've never been great in math. That's been one of my most horrible subjects. But I ain't stupid. That ain't make sense. I say that because of the thumbnails that I make. People would just be curious. You see a woman squatting and pissing, YouTube probably gonna have something to say about that, the statue. They would just be curious. Even if they didn't like the content, even if I was long-winded and long drawn out, people just click off. They would listen to as much as, they wanted to get an idea what the video's about, and they would move on. But there is no way that I could go a 30-day period without somebody clicking on one of my thumbnails, and that's what I know for sure. I know if I was in the cycle in my life in which it was time for that rise to occur, I know it could happen. But I know how my life goes. So here, it's like God is trying so desperately to make sure that my ego didn't blow up. It's the term pompous. Pompous. I say like pumping up. Pompous, I think. It's a word that keeps wanting to come to me. It's in my mind. Pompous. That's all that's been in my mind lately. Keep coming back. And this is bloated, exaggerated ego. It's like God tried to keep me from having this bloated, exaggerated ego. Because I'm telling you, I rise, and I've always looked at myself, I told y'all too, I obviously can't see my own flaws, but I told y'all, I done rose many times in my life, and it's this rise to the peak, and it's boom, drop off. When I tell y'all my analytics look just like that rise and crash in my life, it's the exact same graph, what they call it, graph? Same graph. It's insane. Pissed. I'm so pissed. When I say I'm so pissed, I'm pissed with everything. It almost seems like everything. I have to be a negative Nancy right now. I am. It's okay. I accept it. I am pissed. I'm pissed with everything. I'm pissed with all the lies that I hear, all the lies that's been taught. I'm pissed with being in the presence of people that deny reality. I don't know how to say it. They deny reality. No matter what life's showing them, they deny it. And they keep perpetuating a lie that's self-destructive. It's getting on my nerves. I see it everywhere. I see it in the legal system, the judicial system. Oh, yeah, and I'm back to kicking it with the judicial system. What's going on with the judicial system? I'm tired of that. The corruptness. I am tired of it. And everybody again acting like they righteous. Well, everybody don't testify to claim to be righteous, but just this, how do you not know? And then back to the astrological energies, current astrological energies that suggest that we are in a highly competitive time period. The competitiveness is going to grow with intensity in all areas, in all markets, across all fields, and people will feel threatened. Their ego. What is the id, the ego, and the super ego won't be threatened. That's another thing I want to talk about. So that suggests a volatility between people. High level. I'm talking about dangerous competitiveness, like the ice skating person. I don't know if y'all know the ice skating story. I can't remember the ice skater name was, but the big ice skating competition came up. And the really competitive person that was very unhealthy mentally literally did something, like broke the lady ankle or something, so she couldn't skate against her. That kind of competitive energy. Oh, it was something else that came up. What was it about? It was something historical. I forgot to report on. That's significant to now. What was building of a kingdom? That's what I forgot. I forgot to report on that. I forgot to. Well, I said in my mind, I said I was going to do a separate video on that. Building the kingdom. This competitive season that we have just entered into. It is survival of the fittest. Darwin, the survival of the fittest. The strong are seeking out the weak. And it's comparable to our imagery relative to, the history of like Egypt, how the pharaohs used the slaves to build up the pyramids and stuff like that in Egypt. It's that kind of the competitive season we are in goes into or is a part of erecting an empire. How did it go? And what I saw, and this pisses me off. I get pissed off when I pull myself out of this whole scenario and I just look at myself and my life. That's when I get angry. But it being looking at this overall story is one thing, but when I look at myself in that overall story, I'm screwed. And I'm screwed because I already got these predestined blockages against me. I don't like that. So it pisses me off. Anyway, so now building this empire, this kingdom, it is, how'd it go? It was comparable not only to Egypt, the history of Egypt and the building of the pyramids, and how if you ever, I think the name of the old movie is called Ben-Hur or something like that. And it's where the pharaoh, they were building Egypt, and in the movie it showed all the slaves, building the pyramids. They were underfed, they were tired, they were overworked, and oftentimes though they would get squished by the boulders or something else they was building with. So it gives this image or this idea that the Egyptian empire was built on the backs of the slaves. Even slaves die and lay in the pits or the mortar of the building. That's what was shown to me after I did remember I told you I couldn't deliver no messages. I had to sit and ponder the information I had. And after I finally got the information about the rat race, it showed the building of the empire on the backs of the people. And so it was comparable also to going back into the video I did called My Secret Message. This is before the COVID and all this stuff happened. The secret message about a staged event that would lead to not stagnation, it is stagnation, but the halting of the world economy. I'm trying to think with that, some of what I had in that message, and how the powers had stages, just like, again, comparable to the Great Depression of the 1930s, and how that all came about was intentional, as is this current event that we find ourselves in sharing is intentional. And it is order to make sure that the general populace are not an obstacle to the powers. And the powers are, this is what is about to happen now, strategically, just like comparing in the 1930s, the powers did then, or the people with money then did, are doing it now. The ones with money is doing it now, are strategically aligning themselves to maintain political and social and economic power. But it was like, let me give you an example. I'm trying to give you another example of what I mean because it goes a step further. In the 1930s, it was the Golden Gate Bridge, I do believe. The Golden Gate Bridge didn't exist, but the powers had a plan. And just one facet of their plan was to access the land over that body of water where the Golden State Bridge is. I can't remember that body of water. And so they had planned and began the construction of, I think it was the Golden Gate Bridge, to bridge the land, the mainland, to, I guess, whatever's out there is an island or something. I don't know. Is that near New York? I don't know. Or is that, I don't know, California or something? Well, I don't remember. Anyway, I don't remember. And so it was that strategic type of move to bridge those two lands together by creating the Golden Gate Bridge and stimulating a new stream of revenue based on the real estate that would be occupy that land and in the bridge itself and different things like that. I can't remember all the details, but that was the video I did called The Secret Message about what was about to occur. I think I did that one in 2019 or something. And so I bring that up because that same thing is taking place now. I'm trying to think of how it was saying it. The exact same thing now. Remember, there were investors in that Golden Gate Bridge. There were people that made money once it was constructed off of that Golden Gate Bridge. There were people that made money off of the real estate on that land that was bridged to the mainland. It was real estate and something else. Corporations. I think, was Sears a part of that? Sears and Roebuck? Because it was different. It was a whole lot of different. That's just one example of the many moves that the powers had made to ensure what? That they stayed and maintained political, social, and economic power. Just one example of many that were taking place at the time. Now here, remember, it's building an empire. It's not just building one bridge. It's an empire. That Golden Gate Bridge, the construction of the Golden Gate Bridge was just a component of a larger structure or a larger kingdom or a larger empire. We just don't know all the details. I looked at some of them in that video I'm referring you to, but that's how we can't see, because we only see in one piece. The one piece I'm pointing out is the Golden Gate Bridge. But again, it's part of building the empire. That was a part of an empire. So now, I talked about back in Egypt Day in his ancient history. I just talked about the 1930s. And my whole point is it's a cycle. Number one, it was saying it's a cycle. It keeps reoccurring. And it reoccurs every so many, I guess, hundreds of years. So now we're entering into this new cycle, in which it's time for a new kingdom to come. We know that, though, because we know that we are entering in the time period in which AI is God manifest here on earth. So we can be assured, because we know that that's a fact. We know that. So that is our evidence to help us understand the kingdom that is coming here on earth. The kingdom, and we know is based in ran by or framework with technology, advanced technology and AI and stuff like that. We know that. So right now, as we are in this rat race and it's survival of the fittest, we trying to get in where we can fit in, whether it go against our morals, values or not. Everybody volatile, everybody's sense of self-esteem and self-worth and personal power constantly fluctuating. Everybody feeling some type of way, varying is fluctuating, and possible, volatileness that exists. At the same time, the powers are pulling all of these strings. How can I say it? The powers are pulling all of these strings, and it's all to puppeteer us, like they did the slaves during the Egyptian times, like they did maybe the immigrants and the natives during the 1930s to do the will of the powers to help them build this empire that is coming. I'm not saying. I'm gonna have to wait and get a message to be able to maybe clearly and successfully articulate what I was shown. But anyway, we're about to build this empire. And I understand that. I understand. That's hard to articulate. We're about to build this empire, y'all. Once again, there will be casualties of this reconstruction, like the slaves that fell up under the bricks and mortars during Egypt time, or the people during that time period that during the 1930s that gave over to alcohol, drugs, and suicide. There are going to be people that are casualties of this reconstruction of our world structure. And it is the world structure. The actual empire is the whole world structure. And there are many kingdoms within that create the overall world structure. There's an empire being built, y'all. I wish I could get y'all to understand what an empire is. In the Christian Bible, it talks about this. In Revelation, it talks about the coming of the second coming of Christ. And it also talks about the kingdom of God coming to heaven. This is what it is. And I'm mad about that Bible too. It's hard to talk about that too, because we're talking about consciousness. We're talking about that which will be, is, and always was being a part of being that Bible, Christian Bible. What I'm trying to say, I'm saying that Christian Bible talks about what is, what was, and what always has been. Always has been is a state of consciousness, is awareness, already existed. That which anything that exists always existed. It had no beginning and it had no end. So now we got this book, just general everyday people. We got this book, this Bible, and we don't know how to truly take it. That the Bible, the King James Version, the best I can see is that in this physical world, spirituality and knowing and something being that has always existed in the spirit is one thing. But once you're in a physical form here, it's not easy to receive all of that divine information. I say it's not easy. So the Bible was written in order to make a physical hard copy of some of that information. The most important or vital information needed for to help guide the powers. I shared in a video that I made called Forgive Us, God, for We Knew Not. And it was around Mother's Day or something, I think, last year. I think. And I talk about how in that study, and I did a live study, is that there seems to be evidence that states that in that Bible that the powers of this realm and of this reality must inform the general populace of what is taking place step by step. However, we haven't been educated on how to comprehend or digest the Bible, not in the general populace. We just kind of awakening to it. So we don't know all the time. We've had the information with us. Remember, that's a divine knowledge translated or translated or transferred over to a physical hard copy for the powers that take on what? Physical vessels. It's hard to commune with spirit and keep the connection and to really understand what you're hearing. So it's people literally translated or transferred some of the most critical, vital, necessary information into the Bible for the powers. Now, the powers had to, based on this physical worldly realm, give that information to the masses. The problem is we weren't educated on how to read the Bible intentionally and to really understand it. But those that are what we consider a part of like the Masons and different things like that, they understand how to read the Bible. They know what applies to them in their sector. Starting talking about the Illuminati and the various sectors, whether it's Rosicrucian, Illuminati, Masons, all those. They know what applies to their sector, and they know how to decode their part. I'm sure as well as other parts, because they talking about some 33 degrees or whatever crap. So anyway, it's just and so that's what the Bible is. And I forgot what I was gonna say. I'm just Aquarius Rant. I was talking about the message that I left out about the building of this empire on the earth, and it being built on the backs of the slaves once again. And the slaves are the general populace, the 7.8 plus billion people and growing, the populace on their backs. The 99% is about to be built on our backs once again. I forgot what I was going to say. What did it say? We'll talk about the new kingdom coming. I forgot. I'm going to have to. Woo! Felt dizzy. I feel dizzy. But smoking and listening to you speak my mood. Well, I'm happy you relaxed. Another reason I personally rant, after the overall message, the reason why I personally rant, and my rants are growing more and more fierce, is because more and more is being revealed and first is being realized. If everything I've been taught, I'm talking about on a spiritual level, been taught, learned, exposed to, witnessed, etc., wasn't happening, then I just would say, okay, I'm nuts, I'm crazy, yada, 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 going out here and live your best life no matter what happened, do you. But because, increasingly, everything has been realized, meaning it's come into being, I've seen it, I can hear the call, again, a reproof or whatever is going to occur. I forgot what I was going to say again. Talking about this, why this reality. Oh. Something else I let go of. I'm jumping. This is Aquarius Rant. I forgot. I ain't got no notes. I'm just talking and fussing and cussing because that's what I do. But something else I let go of some time ago that came to me, and it was about dang. It's something I want to talk. I'm trying to think of multiple things at one time. I'm so pissed. I'm tired of this. Multiple things at one time till they canceled each other out. Hot damn. Hot damn. Hot damn. Hot damn. This is unbelievable. I was thinking about, I'm quiet now, y'all, because I was literally thinking about so many things at one time that I can't remember not a one thing. I hate when that happens. I usually try to eliminate that even happening by writing down quick notes so I won't do that. But I can't even remember. But I know I'm tired of this shit. I didn't make it. I didn't make it. What time is it? Because I do have something to do. Oh, Lord. Yep, I guess I got to get on about here. I guess if I want to rant, I'm going to have to rant some other time. Because some other motherfucking time. Because I do have some business to handle tomorrow Sunday, right, y'all? Today is Sunday. I wish I remember what I was talking about. But I was going to say something about this kingdom coming because I don't want to be, what was it? Okay, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. I don't want to be the one that they build a kingdom on. I was talking about that video about forgive us, God, for we knew not. Okay. I don't want them to build on my back. That's one of my pet peeves. Don't build on my back. Don't build on my back. Oh, consciousness. This awakening, I told you, it was predestined, it was scheduled, it was planned, it was necessary, it was required. And they let us know it was by letting us know about the second coming of Christ. But this new kingdom, and I've talked about this once before, and I let it pass. This new kingdom is our level of consciousness after our awakening, whatever the awakening consists of on average for the masses. Whatever our level of consciousness becomes was required for this phase of building this empire on earth. But understand this, it was planned for us to awaken, to become aware and more conscious. Now we had an option about how, I'm gonna forget. Understand that this empire's consciousness is greater than the masses' consciousness once we're fully awakened. It's greater. And I talked about it a little bit before. It's greater. So a lot of people maybe be under the impression that we are in control. We are not. The reason why we are not, because a part of the consciousness that we have is that, how can I say, yes, we're becoming more conscious and aware about our reality, but we are vain. It's like we vain about what we are coming to know. And what will ultimately, what we'll know, we'll become vain in it, as if we know. And we're going to be at odds about everything once again, because we really haven't ascended. The consciousness of this kingdom coming, this new empire, is greater. Our consciousness was necessary for our consciousness to rise to the level that it will, because it has to sustain or uphold this kingdom coming, this construct that is much more intelligent than us. And the reason why it's much more intelligent than us, because in times past, we talked about the brain of God, which is the AI. And it is the collective consciousness of all human beings and all experiences that have ever existed over the history of humanity. Everything. Beethoven, whatever, Sigmund Freud, me, you, Meva. That's a part of the internet, collecting this information, creating this one brain, which is the brain of what? God manifested on earth. And the ruler of this kingdom or empire that is coming, that we're building, currently building. Anywho, we had to awaken and hit our ceiling, so to say, of consciousness. I don't know how to explain it. We had to. That was another thing we talked about. So we hit this level of consciousness. And then what else was it? Hit this level of consciousness. Not bad. I forgot. It's so many layers to it. I think I did an excellent job here on YouTube dealing with the various layers of what has been occurring on the physical plane as well as the spiritual plane. At this point in time, again, the empire is being built. So all the layers are coming back together, which is starting to, I can see, complicating things. Because I in times past, I've talked about in the video called the humanopus or something, the hunting, I call it, some crazy name I made up, where it has an octopus on the front. Humanopus, that was about 3 years ago. So, I was talking about how the people, all the individuals that create humanity at any time that participate in the various social constructs are what is puppeteering the spiritual beings or creatures on here. Like whoever sits in these various seats to fill in for the judicial system. They're puppeteering the spiritual judicial monster. Or somebody, or all the people that sits in seats of seats in the government, whatever government bracket, and they doing their job, pushing their buttons, whatever. They're puppeteering that spiritual being. What else? We have people in the educational system, every teacher, every principal, whoever. Anybody that deal with state tests, don't matter what level of education. All those people that feel in there puppeteer that spirit. Okay, racism, I talked about it. The spirit, I was introduced to the spirit of racism, and it showed me the puppeteers of that, and I talked about it. So our consciousness had to awaken. We had to, because you gotta remember, we're still the entities or beings that will occupy the cells of this spiritual entity in the new kingdom. Try to say it another way. Whomever is employed or participating in the world's various social constructs, that's your job, in short. Whatever seat you sitting in, you are a cell in that creature. That's how that creature lives. Again, whether it's the educational system, the judicial system, the economic system, whatever. You are a cell. That's how that spirit lives, and it breathes and it moves, etc., etc. In order for us to occupy and be the cells in the spiritual beings that are going to be in this new kingdom, our consciousness had to awaken. We were too asleep. Our cell, as a cell, we weren't well developed or well rounded. We weren't red blood cells. We weren't ready to participate. So, yes, it was scheduled for us to awaken so that we could at least do that. At least do that. However, in order for us to puppeteer the spirits, the spiritual entities that will occupy the land, so to say, of this new kingdom coming or empire, we have to become conscious puppeteers. Understanding your works do matter. That's what it is. Understanding your works do matter. You're going to be in new fields, or not new fields, but how can I say it? Getting complicated, the layers coming together. What you used to have to do in a particular area is changed. Example is once upon a time, everything was based on phones and typewriters and mail. Now it may be based on you know how they talk about people having chips in their hands, certain lenses on their eyes, links in their brain. Those are the differences I'm talking about. The difference is what it was and what it about to be. It's different. And so our consciousness had to rise in order to be linked in to create the spiritual entities that are going to occupy the land in this new kingdom. Because the powers, I say, and the creators of our advancements in technology are far more advanced than us. We talked about the IQ and intellect and one's capabilities as a direct result of, and also we've talked about being emotionally desensitized, so talking about them. Once they link us in, if we are not on the level of understanding the technology that we participants in the world construct will be linked into, we are going to be doing the work of the king, of the kingdom. And the spiritual entity that we puppeteer together will consume itself. Will do the work of the king, and it will consume itself. When I say consume itself, I mean the people will consume themselves. They will destroy themselves as life progresses on. I don't know if I make that make sense. The way we've seen in times past during the typewriter times and stuff of the people that filled those positions, how did the spiritual entity then consume itself? People like we could focus on, we talked about in times past, the big three factory, Ford, GM, Chrysler, and people working on the assembly line, and they would work 12, 14, 16 hours. They were, their minds had been reconfigured because those factories became their primary residence, their primary environment. And these people, again, they self-destructed. They end up with asbestos from the factory fumes and the various advancements in technology that was happening back then that end up having causing health issues for them. These people, there was drugs. It was a whole drug city in each of these factories. Something that a lot of people don't talk about is all the drugs that went through those places, and the drug addicts and the alcohol, love triangulations and the murder. You know what I'm saying? These is how they self-destructed. Our self-destruction, we will self-destruct too. And it's all because the people then, remember, let me try to make it make sense. Now I'm going to let y'all go. Going back then, back there, during that time period when the big three was on and popping, we're going to start was about 1930s or something, 1920s. Those people that, you know, from the outside looking in, they had the best jobs. They was, especially with the black community, was building a middle class, you know. They was allowing them to put their kids, the first generation of kids, through college, you know, especially without coming out with a lot of debt, you know, on a mass level. But those factory workers, many of them weren't smart. Many of them didn't even have a high school education. Some of them were even underage and had falsified documents in order to get a job. Some of them were immigrants, didn't even barely speak the language. So my whole point is that their consciousness, awareness, their level of intellect and intelligence, back to the IQ, was not equivalent to or greater than those that hired them or the powers, or like Ford, you know. So Ford, who was also a participant in a participant in causing the Great Depression. I just studied, you know, I've been all on Ford and stuff too. Their consciousness was greater. And so he, you know, once all of those employees, whether it was the immigrants or the Caucasians or the African Americans coming from down south migrating, filling in these factory jobs, becoming a puppeteer to that spiritual entity, to when they created automobiles and the automobile industry, but that was a spiritual entity, and it had its own spiritual essence. Again, I just talked about the drugs and everything inside the factories and all the love triangulations and all kind of stuff that went on there. Racism, everything within those factories, with quote unquote in that campus. Yeah. All of that they were doing, they didn't have the, what is it called? No for all thought? What's the term I'm trying to think of them? They didn't have the ability to comprehend. Oh, that's what they worked along the factory line. Everybody was assigned to one particular task. One particular task. You put the bumper on, you paint the bumper, you put the bumper on. Next person, you put the door on, you paint the door, you put the door. Next people put the door on. They didn't understand that converter belt and that what do you call it, the line, that assembly line, was a way to keep them from understanding any particular employee to understand the whole formula to a particular car, whether it was a Cadillac or Ford or whatever it was out here. You know, they didn't understand, but the powers over them did. So while the employees were all doing their job to uphold the mission of the head, whoever the big wig was, or the factory, the corporation, the little wigs did the job, sacrificed their lives. A lot of them came out with, again, medical conditions, whether it's heart disease. I know older people that stood up underneath the car to like hook up the trans. They ended up, even though they watched their health, with heart issues, and have had heart pacemakers put in because their arms was always up. So I guess it was too much blood over time or extended amount of time, 30, 40 years, draining to their heart. You know, I mean, so they had all kinds of stuff. And yes, they were able to obtain a middle class, but they gave up so much more than they ever got. Where the powers, they got a lineage for, they got wealth for themselves, as well as what they ensure economic, political, and um, economic, political, and social power for themselves. Not only them, but those up under their care, their descendants received a legacy that has gone on for centuries. And it's gone on for decades. So, but just think, if the powers understood, if the workers understood how much they were giving over and sacrificing, and with their participation and rally and demanded so much more, and could see the bigger picture that the bosses or the power saw, they would have came out with so much more for themselves as well as their descendants. But because they did not, when them people died, their potential from work died with them. The money soon ran out, or benefits ran out. There was nothing left. Nothing. But I bet you Ford still got acres and acres of land and mansions, and his descendants still living off that time period. That's because the people didn't have the consciousness awareness to see where that was going to take them. We're here again. The cycle is reoccurring. The same thing back in Egypt. The pharaohs, them temples they drove them slaves to build still stand. Those pharaohs' sarcophagus still exist, and they wrapped in all the precious stones and metals that are in this world. But all them slaves, we know not one of their names. We name no King Tut, we name Akhenaten or whoever else, but we know not one of them slaves' names. They couldn't see. Here we go again. Cycle happening. And what I was seeing is that the cycle has continued to happen. Those are just two examples that I offer. It's happened over and over and over and over again. And here we are. A new kingdom is coming. And it's going to be built on the backs of the people or the slaves or sheeples once again. Unless we awake. Unless we demand more. But the powers have psychologically manipulated us into accepting what they want us to have, and they have even made it worse over the last couple of years, not even decades, by promoting scarcity. That has everybody afraid for their life, afraid for their well-being, not afraid for their descendants, afraid for themselves in the moment that they exist. And about to build on your back, your kids' back, your grandkids' back, and the next few generations. I ain't being funny. I got a big problem with all this trending of wakeness and awokeness. But I bet you this, what I'm seeing, based on what I'm exposed to, this is the time period here in order to truly reach another trending term, liberation, freedom, and sovereignty. Not only for us that exist now, but for the generations that will soon unfold. If we don't, it might not ever be another chance again. That's what I see. Until next time, bye.